All right, well, I'm super excited for this next panel. We're going to be talking about networking and lead generation tips. I want to start off by just allowing the panel to introduce themselves, and we'll just start with you, Diane. Just go on down the line. I'd like you to say your name, where you guys are based, your location, and how long you've been with C2.
It's a great day, everybody. I'm Diane Luan.
Hold on one second. Thank you, Shelley.
I don't need a mic, right? It's a great day, everybody. I'm Diane Luango-Gasic. I have been with C2 Financial. This March 15th will be 5 years, and I came from retail, and I'm up in Fullerton.
Shelley Heimer. I have been with C2 this last week for 7 years, and I'm located here in San Diego.
Hi, everybody. Kyle Palinuk, and 5 years with C2 Financial. I'm in North Park in San Diego, just up the hill.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Cal Anton, 6 years with C2, and I'm with Simple Mortgage, C2 in Pasadena.
Hello, I'm Francie Bragg. I'm here in San Diego, and I'm going on my 3rd year here at C2, and I love it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you guys for being here today. So when we were talking about networking and working in the community, and we started this conversation together, Cal, you brought up a really interesting approach, and I'd love for you to just kick us off by sharing what your approach to networking is.
Sure, thank you. So I have always lived by the go-giver mentality, and that's the approach that I take. There's actually a wonderful book written called The Go-Giver by Bob Berg and David Mann, and it is a wonderful book. But I have to tell you, I've been doing this way before I read the book. My parents taught that to me. So there's 2 types of personalities. There's the go-getter, the person who's out there trying to get things, what's for me, what can you do for me? And then there's the go-giver mentality. And when you're out there networking, or as we like to call it, connecting with people, you have to look and see what value are you adding, to them. How can you help them? Who can you connect them with, right? And then you have to be your true, authentic self at all times so that you can really listen and hear what your partners, clients, colleagues need from you, and that's just kind of the mentality that I use when I'm out there connecting with people, right? I'll give you a quick example. A lot of people talk about landing the whale. Well, why don't you build your own whale by being a go-giver? So I met a realtor about, I want to say 10 years ago, who brought me the book, The Go-Giver, after we had our first meeting. In the meeting, he happened to mention that he had a mom that needed some care and just didn't know what to do. Well, immediately, this triggered in me. How am I going to give back to him and give to other partners of mine? So I knew people in the health industry, in the elder care industry. I immediately connected him. He sends me the book and says, I've read this book, and I've always heard about the go-giver mentality, but I've never actually met someone that did that. And today he's the biggest whale in Pasadena. And yes, he's not only by himself anymore, but he's got, John, Dave, Jack, 10, 12 agents, and we are their only referral source for mortgages.
Very cool.
And that's how that kind of comes back to you. And my mantra, as I told you, is, you got to feed your soul, and then you can feed your family.
I love that. Feed your soul so you can feed your family. Diane, I know you and I have had conversations about this before, about, you're doing this to help people and not necessarily to get from them. I'd love to hear your take on it as well.
Well, it's interesting that you
Thank you.
It's interesting she would talk about The Go-Giver, because I have read all 4 books,
Right.
The Go-Giver, The Go-Giver Sells More, The Go-Giver Influencer, and The Go-Giver Salesperson, I think. Anyways, Go-Giver leader. Anyways, the mentality truly is to give and be that resource for your clients and your agents, because you're not looking for something. It's just that I can't say the word. Reciprocity. Yes. Did I say it right?
Reciprocity.
Reciprocity. That's it.
It's a good word.
It's the law of giving. It always comes back to you, and you may not know how, but it always does. And I live my life the same way, just always giving, doing the good, what you can do to help somebody else, and then it always comes back.
Yep. Shelley, tell us a little bit about your approach. You used the word in our kind of prep call, human connection. So can you expand on that a little bit?
I think just as both ladies have said, is giving back to our community at a greater, higher level of humanity. I do consider myself a human connector. I can see where people can be put together in relationships. And so I'm always looking to foster not only my relationship and my growth with that individual, but connecting them with other people that are like-minded, whether it's a realtor and a client, or a title officer and a realtor, but I'm always looking to make connections with people that are lifelong standing. So.
And do you feel like are you sitting at your desk thinking like, I got to connect this person with this person, or like how are you?
It's funny, it happened here today, and I don't know if Brandon is in the building, but when I checked in yesterday to the front desk, the young guy helping me check in was just having open dialogue, and he's like, yeah, I'm working on getting my real estate license. I want to go into commercial real estate really bad. And he's telling me a story, and I'm like, oh, you got to meet Brandon. Brandon will be at our event. And it's just, anytime I meet someone and they share a little piece of themselves, I know that there's somebody else that's going to help them grow and develop that need. So it just happens.
I love that. I love that. Do the rest of you feel that same way? Like, do you feel like you're always constantly making these connections?
I'll share something quick. I belong to several networking organizations and groups, and I love networking and connecting. And I actually have, and I forgot it this morning, but I have a printed trifold on my desk of the top 20 of my most important partners. And every day I come into work and I think, who can I connect them with today? Who can I connect them with today? Who needs them, you know? So I would do that. Keep your partners top of mind, right?
I want to dig into that, because how many of you guys also have a printout of the partners and like your referral partners and the people you work with every day on your desk? I see a half a hand. Anybody else? I think that is, Diane, you do? Shelley has a spreadsheet. You've got a printout. I think that is genius.
I have their little photos next to it. It's so, right? It's awesome. I mean, I could share that with you, but it's very cool.
I love that. So, what inspired that idea?
Truthfully, I belong to a group called Provisors, and we're Pass 1, and we kind of think we're the best Pass group. My partner's in Pass 3. But we came up with that maybe 5-6 years ago, and I just kept adding to it every time I met someone else that fit into my network and that was like-minded like we are.
Nice. Very nice. Okay, so you mentioned this group that you're a part of, Provisors. Was that what it was called? Can you tell us a little bit about that group, and tell us about if are you a part of any other groups?
Oh gosh, I've been in Pasadena my entire life, and so yes, I'm a part of many, many groups there. Provisors is a huge networking group. It's a national group. And so every area, Pasadena, we have 7 groups now. And in each group, there's about 25 to 30 members, and there's only one person from each occupation in that group. And it's not as aggressive as like a B&I group or something like that. But we meet monthly, we exchange ideas, we learn about one another, we update the group on our industry, and we just go deeper connections. And you really have to join a group like that and want to be a giver. If you sit in the group and you want to know, what am I getting? Oh, I've been in here for a year, nobody gave me any referrals. Well, you don't belong in that group, right? And yes, I do. I belong to the women's, the San Gabriel Valley Women's Affinity Group, the Real Estate Affinity Group. I'm a huge part of Cancer Support Community, San Gabriel Valley. I actually sat on the board for 16 years, just walked off as board president. And I'm on the Arcadia Association of Realtors. I'm the Events for Charity board president, and Pasadena Foothill Association of Realtors.
That's a lot. How do you manage your time so that you can be present and participating actively in those groups while still originating loans and doing your job?
Oh, that's really easy. You just time block and you manage your time. And when you're there, you're present. Jack's laughing on my team, but we time block, right? But you just make the time. And I promise you, if you're able to give just a little bit of your time, and it will come back to you, and you'll find the time. You will.
Nice. Francie, are you a part of any groups?
I am. I am involved in quite a few women's networking groups. For me, networking is very difficult, not like some of these other people up here. I am more of an introvert, and so getting out there is definitely out of my comfort zone. And but I feel really comfortable with women, and I always make it a point when I'm in these groups to try to be on the board, because when you're on the board, especially hospitality, what do you have to do? You have to meet the people and make those connections, which I really am starting to enjoy doing.
Nice. I want to pause on what you said, because when we did have our prep call, these four were like chatterboxes. Like, it's just this innate talent that we have to connect people. And Francie was like, not for me. I'm an introvert. This is kind of new to me. So, how did you kind of break out of that?
It's like you just got to go do it. It takes what it takes. And by making myself get out there, I try to, I have a corny side too. And so I had to deepen or grab into my bag of tricks and do some outside of the box things. I have a shirt that says, "Mortgage questions, let's talk about it." So I try to make it so that I'm approachable, and it's amazing. I have done this at a couple events, had a table and had some fun things out there, and it just drives conversation my way. It's fun conversation. It's not heavy, because we're in such a serious industry and business. This is so lighthearted, and it makes me relax too in what I'm doing, and just to kind of make those connections and enjoy being there with the people.
Yeah, more authentic to who you are and what you care about. So I'm not here to sell to you. I'm here to connect with you.
Exactly. I try to always remember, I'm not selling, I'm helping. I want to help people. I want to educate them, because we're different. We're on this side of the broker channel, we're different. So I try to convey that.
Yeah. Are anybody else on the panel, have you guys found things in the community, events in the community that you participate in to help kind of, broaden your network?
Nope, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no. Each one of us, I work on a small team, and we've each found that being involved in our immediate community as board members of different things has really helped. It's actually mainly, I want to say it's selfish, because we get so much out of it. It's a break from our normal job, but it gets the real raw and organic connections that I think everyone's really looking for when you talk about networking. I mean, like you said, we don't really feel like networkers. That came up when we were talking before, and I don't know, I just have a negative connotation with the word personally too. So I don't see myself as a networker, I'm kind of more like Shelley. I take pure satisfaction in finding ways to connect people, but bringing people together is just in our space is also really important to us. So we actually even create events as well that do just that. But yeah, serving your community is actually usually a lot easier than you might think. If you don't know about it, do a quick search, and I'm sure that where anyone lives, there's going to be something local that you can just volunteer for. And you might be surprised how hard it is for these boards to find volunteers. You start as a volunteer, then they start to get to know what you do, and it's a free and real, authentic way to, not to knock any of the networking groups, because those can be really effective, and you can get the same benefits out of that as well. But yeah, we've found that there's no deviation from that, for each one of us that work in our office.
You talked about kind of creating these events and these spaces for people to connect. And Diane, I know you recently hosted an event, I believe it was last November. can you tell everyone, I'm going to play the video, but I'd love for you to preface it and just let everyone know, what gave you the idea for this event and what was your goal?
So I went out to UWM's Success Track, and that was the first time I'd gone out there for that type of event. I went out there for the live with the Tony Robbins, and that was really great, which inspired me to go out to the C2 Success Track with UWM. And when Matt was speaking in the meeting and everybody was talking, I thought, gosh, this is such great information. We need to bring this to the real estate community. So I was no sooner off the plane and I was calling Danny, our account exec, and I said, I want to do this. I want to get Matt to come out here. And he goes, you're not going to get Matt to come out. I go, well, I need somebody just, not just you, Danny. I want somebody big. And he was like, well, what the hell? What am I, just like chopped liver here? He goes, I'll come out. I says, well, I really want to make this big. He said, if you can guarantee 100 people, I can get Desmond to come out or Alan to come out. I said, great.
100 people.
100 agents to come out.
What did you say when he said that? Were you like, oh, no
Okay.
problem? Or were you like,
Game on.
100 people?
Game on. And I went through, so I really got myself out of my own box, out of my, sometimes you have all these people that are on your Facebook and, oh, they're a realtor, and you see somebody over there, or you see them. Well, I went outside of my comfort zone, and on my Facebook, all the real estate agents that I've liked or I've commented or these types of things, but I really don't know, I reached out to all of them. And you helped me with the email invite. It was done really professionally. It was sent out with an email invite to these agents. And then I just got on my call. Every couple of days, I would call the agents. And I got a lot of no's. As a matter of fact, I ended up sending out 193 or 198 evites. And we ended up with 110 RSVPs. And then, I think 97 ended up showing up. But it gave me
Great.
It gave me a kind of a format to call. So every few days, I sent out the reminder to RSVP. And so those that RSVP Jess, I called them up and, oh, this is going to be really great. You're going to love it. We didn't necessarily tell them what it was. We said this was going to be top executives coming out to talk about insights of the marketplace in 2024. Agents are hungry, and they all wanted to come for something to get some light out of it. And when Danny was telling me that I had to have 100, and I was just only at 85, I thought, oh my God, I got to get more. Well, then I also kind of tweaked it a little bit and started inviting those power partners. I had a couple divorce attorneys. I had a couple trust attorneys. I had a business real estate attorney. I had 3 financial advisors. I had a couple insurance agents and a couple life insurance agents. So it kind of helped me tweak the dynamic of what I wanted to share with the agents and everybody in the community as to be more of that, on that giver side, to create a resource for each other. And talking about, if we want to get business, you can't just sit there and cold call and, oh, you ready to sell? Are you ready to buy? People are going to, well, yeah, but you got to have something to talk about to keep that enthusiasm going, right? So when you're having that conversation and you're talking with somebody, it could be the question of, oh gosh, with tax, you all set for taxes? Hey, do you have a good tax preparer? Gosh, I really do. Really, would you mind sharing who that person is? How long have you worked with them? Would you mind giving me their contact information? I need tax preparers because my clients ask for them all the time. Oh, everybody wants to give you their person because their person's always the best. So they give you that contact, you contact that tax preparer, and you say, hey, Jimmy gave me your name and number. Are you open for taking on new business? And they always say yes. And you say, great, if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to send you an email, and then I can have you down as, a person to refer to. Also, then you can invite them, for a cup of coffee to get to know them a little bit better. I'm not asking anything for me. Once again, it's that law of reciprocation. It's going to come into play if you keep calling them and give them referrals, or you call them and ask for advice about something or to get their know-how. So it's about building those resources of who we are. And that's kind of how my thought ran off with this event.
I love that. Well, 97 people for this event. I'm gonna play the video so you guys can all see what this looked like.
Diana Luongo-Gazik. I am a senior loan advisor at C2 Financial. I was introduced to C2 Financial through my old account executive at UWM. I had met him many, many years ago, and then I left a small mom and pop shop and went to retail. After being at retail for 5 years, I realized that just wasn't the home for me, and so I immediately called up my account executive at UWM, and it just so happens that C2 was putting on one of their Connect meetings. So I went to that Connect meeting, and I walked in the door and it was instant connection. I did an event today. It was the first time I've ever done anything like that, and I had 100 real estate agents, trust attorneys, CPAs, tax preparers, divorce attorneys attend, as well as real estate agents. My concept and my idea of this was to reflect and show how partnerships are really important in our business. Partnerships are like a marriage versus relationships are just like you're dating. And so having them at the event really helped for me to show the other agents as well as the other vendors. So putting this together with the support of Brian, David, Perry, and UWM made it a tremendous success. Joining C2 Financial has really helped me even in my personal life. Family is really important to me, and it's my number one why. With my children, I'm able to do things with them. I'm able to travel with them. I'm able to go to some of their events that they're doing because I have the flexibility at C2. Since I've joined C2, I have worked from Italy and I've had boots on the ground, and it has just been seamless. With my trip, the stress level has been down to a minimal because I have such a great team here. Having to work at C2 Financial gives me that flexibility and opportunity. My husband and I also go camping, and we like to play golf. If I were to talk to somebody about joining C2, I can just say to you that the ethics in this company, the camaraderie, I've just never felt so welcomed and so appreciated as I have at C2. C2's got a name that's a clout with all of our lender partners, and they're always looking for the best products to offer us. They've always have trainings and events for us to enhance ourselves and to better ourselves. And again, just the support that we have at C2 has just been unparalleled. I can't say enough great things. I've come to C2 and now I'm home.
I love that. Thank you.
Kind of odd to see myself on there.
That was amazing. What I love about this, Diane, is you had this idea, you went to Michigan, you come out, you have this idea, and you just picked up the phone and was like, I have this idea, I want to make this happen.
I did it within 3 weeks.
Well, I remember when you called me and you're like, and I want to do it on November 8th. I was like, what?
And everything just came together. Everybody, and the fun thing is when some of the agents came in, they kind of walked in and they went, oh, I didn't think it was going to be this big, or oh, I didn't think it was going to be this nice. And it really was not nearly as expensive as I would have thought it would have been. And I picked up new agents from that event that have never worked with me and are whales, and came in. There was one person that even left there, texted me and said, by the way, I'm going to start giving you all of my clients. It just makes sense. I mean, it was just, and it keeps on going. It's everyone keeps talking about the event, and then are we going to have another one this year? And then I'm going out to to UWM at their success track in 2 weeks. That's done for C2, playing on the event because David talked about it. Desmond and Danny talked about that they do that only for C2, and so I have 5 agents coming with me.
Oh, amazing, amazing. I think that's a great example of kind of a large-scale opportunity to bring a lot of people together. I think for some people in the crowd, maybe that's a lot to take on, especially if you haven't really done a lot of community events or networking. Shelley, I know, you tend to do, I know you've done big events too, but I know you also do a lot of smaller ones. Can you talk a little bit about those?
You're right, I do tons of community events. So to scale it down to something that's reasonable for somebody that doesn't want to do a 100-person event, I tend to focus on about 10 to 25 at a time, and I like to host them in my home. I feel when you invite people into your home, you create a different relationship. So when you come to our home, we connect on a real, authentic level. So I do two things. One is my vision board class, and I've been doing that annually for probably about 5 or 6 years now. And where it started out was, it was initially just my realtor partners that I would invite, and we did goal planning and goal setting, but it's morphed because so many people have been like, oh, I want to go. Can I go to your class? Can I come? So now I've opened it up just to what my husband refers to as my Facebook family. So I put it out there, and now it's realtors, it's entrepreneurs, it's friends, it's clients. And again, I'm connecting people at an event in my home for long-standing relationships. I've connected realtors to buyers in just organic conversations at my home. It's super easy, it's very cost-effective, and it's made lasting impacts. I have the same people come year after year. And then I also we just started something this year called Loans and Lattes, and we're hosting realtor coffee once a month at my home.
I love that,
And
Loans and Lattes.
Loans and Lattes.
Very clever.
So they
Cute.
come for coffee and stay for the good conversation. We pitch different products that are coming up. This last month was a deep focus on why they should partner with H5 and C2 and what we offer them in our customer service and our products. And it was a great turnout, and we're looking forward to next month's.
That's great. So 2 examples here. Diane's, where she's hosting a luncheon for 100 people, and Shelley, where she's just serving coffee to 15 people who fit in her living room. And it's both still extremely impactful. I love that. Kyle, so you do events too, but a little bit in a different way. Obviously, you're getting out in your community, but you've created a space for people to actually come together to network. Tell us a little bit about Granada House.
Well, yeah, first, that was an accident, so I take 0 credit for that. But what what happened was, during COVID, our landlord sold the office space, so we were looking for a new space. And as I started, that's also when I started growing my team. And when I started looking at where to land, this really interesting thing happened with our family, and my wife was getting back into the workforce as well. So she kind of took over, and we got the lease, and she made it beautiful. And I'm sitting there like, how can I put like a loan officer desk in here? Like, this doesn't even work. So we got to do something more fun. And then I kind of got my existing partner back, kind of roped him back in and said, listen, we could do something really amazing here. And we've always looked for this really fun work-life balance. And for us, we've always known that, we're all here because we're trying to, connect people and make money and make an impact and help families, but we're also looking out for our own families, and part of that is being present, like everyone has said here. So everything's really resonated with me with what everyone said here. And so what we started doing is activating our space. Our desk consists of a little metal table that basically just gets wheeled away constantly. So we started renting out the space for venues, and then we said, well, this is really great. We can have our own events here, and we can create sort of a community. So roping in all of we have our community. I'm part of North Park Business and Neighborhood Foundation. We hold our events there. We hold our meetings there. We throw fundraisers. We now are on, you'll find us on Google, it's called Granada House, and so we're getting inbound calls all the time. We basically have a separate business, but it's really just kind of for fun, and we have a method where if someone approaches us and it looks like they might be a nonprofit, as long as they tick a couple of boxes and cover that, we actually do it for free. And so naturally you can see we're meeting a lot of people this way. So I think for us it really is, it provides a lot of satisfaction, for what we're looking for. And then most recently, we were like, let's have some fun with this. And long story short, there was a little area in the back of our space that sort of just made itself available to us, which kind of was supposed to be a storage closet, but I had this weird idea that it could be kind of a speakeasy. So we built a speakeasy, and now we have a lot of fun parties there, and it's a private membership that you can join, and we've been having a lot of fun with it, and engaging with some of the young. I can actually say this now, that there's most buyers now are actually younger than I am, and it's kind of fun to get in front of them and still do, our job. Well, we forget what it is sometimes in a good way. So yeah, the term that's been floating around lately has been the mullet mortgage guys.
The what? What was it?
The mullet mortgage guys. You have the business in the front and then the parties in the back. So anyway, we're having a lot of fun.
I think it's actually more like it looks like a party in the front and then it's business in the back, right?
Well, yeah. The cool thing is like we have this community piano that was an offshoot when our foundation was in infancy, and we're kind of like waiting for the park to be built because our main focus is to activate the park next door. And we were like, well, what should we do? So I thought, wouldn't it be fun to have a community piano? So now the community piano is living right outside our door. So we get to meet all like musicians or just people having fun with it, and that's actually free, you guys. You can get pianos for free. So, stick a piano out in front of your business and see what happens. But
people walk by.
People literally walk by.
And then they just
and then we keep it really discreet. There's nothing that's like out there like where mortgages, like that's not really cool, right? So they'll come in and they'll say, what are you guys doing in here? And we're like, because we've got an art gallery on one side, we had a beautiful big mural on the other. It looks like an inviting living room and the big glass windows, and we're like, it just depends on how we feel that day. I don't know. What's it to you? No. But yeah, it's fun because we actually, one of our challenges is to have real conversations, but remember that we got to slide in the fact that we're mortgage loan originators, but we're really excited to do it. And I can happily say that we've picked up business this way, but it's just fun. So I hope I think we're all out there, scraping and clawing for new business, but I hope that you're all having some fun because, ultimately,
Otherwise,
that's what it's all about.
life's too short.
We heard this from Renee this morning, and I hope people were listening because I think he nailed it with, finding the balance and just, you got to be, and I have to say, like, I struggle with doing the calls and doing everything that is measurable, but I can say that we're all very happy, and I got to give it to my team, Jim and Anthony over there, who, for me, that's another thing that's very important, is that I'm not alone. So I have my ups and downs, but we have so much fun, and we meet tons of people, and we get to do art and music and a lot of fun stuff. So that's what we've been up to.
It's very in line with what Francine was saying about being authentic. It's like you created this space to be authentically yours and, offer to the community the things that you love and you enjoy and that they enjoy too. I would love to understand though, like, how does the bridge to home loans work? Like, someone comes, sees this piano, and then they wander in, and then they see desks, and then they're like, what are you doing here? And like, how does it turn into business? Yeah,
it's funny because this might resonate with some of you, but like when you say what you do, or if they ask you, or however it comes up, and they say, we actually do more, and the answer is always the same. It's always like, oh, how are those interest rates? Yeah, it's like tough right now. And then you're kind of like, you're gauging, there isn't a natural, organic, directive motive, but I'm gonna go hand it to Cal because it doesn't have to be, right? It doesn't have to be everyone that comes in the door, you stick it on their face like you do more. Like, in fact, we try not to.
Right.
The thing is you have to allow them to know what you do, but it's until, when we meet a new client, it's like, it could be 5 years before we end up doing it, but you stay in front of them, you're doing fun things, like the word travels, and like, I don't know, like she said, you have to know that what you put out in the universe is eventually going to come back. And just let go of that sort of thing. Like if you try to manifest like too much of what you want, like right now I have a couple of deals that are like totally just went south, and I'm just trying to be like, okay, it's not in my control, and like sure enough, things are picking back up, and it's it's just kind of like remember it's the long game, and just have fun with what you're doing. And then when you talk to people, it's like it's amazing the difference when you're excited to talk about what you're doing, and that's the one thing that we always are. We're always excited to do mortgages, of course, but we're also excited to throw parties and inviting people around, and
And
so
you,
it's tough.
And you said something earlier that it's about how many people you can touch and how many people you can connect with. And so when you're not pigeonholing yourself to just doing home finance seminars and you're doing other things, you're connecting with other people in different ways personally, like Shelley was talking about. And then eventually, that when they know, like, and trust you, those opportunities present themselves.
Yeah, it's amazing what happens on social media. Like, I'm like not cool enough to do the TikTok thing. Like, I don't get it, right? And a lot of us don't get it. But we need to get it, and we need to be out there. So we realize, like, we built this cool thing that all these people want to be at. Maybe they don't want a mortgage now, but if we get in front of all these other accounts, so now our Instagram is starting to, cross multiply some things, and we have these really cool influencer type people that are like wanting to come to us and collaborate with us doing our events. So they do these really fancy like supper club things, and like we're like, oh, this is the right demographic. This is good, right? So I know that, and I'm confident that good things are to come from that. But just having the space has been really fun too, so.
Well, what you have is very unique, and I think, we're talking a lot about it, but I think it would be really useful for everyone to actually see what Granada House looks like. So I'm just going to play a short clip so that everyone can kind of visualize this.
Hey everyone, we're the team behind Granada House. By day, we're deeply involved in helping families navigate the complexities around home financing and interior design.
It's not just about loan programs and interest rates, it's about peace of mind and helping people secure a place they can call home.
But Granada House is so much more than our day job. It's a space we've created to be open and approachable for everyone in the community.
When we needed a new office for our mortgage business, we took an old building in the heart of North Park and transformed it into something we think is pretty special. It's the space we work in, but also a place where friends and neighbors come to share and celebrate.
And we're more than just business owners. We are active participants in our community, giving back to this amazing place in which we live, because we truly love where we live.
At Granada House, we strive to support everything from school fundraisers to pop-up retail.
From community networking to art installations.
From baby showers to home ownership seminars.
We believe in the power of bringing people together.
Whether it's through music, art, design, or just a simple conversation with a neighbor, we're all about creating a space that enriches and inspires our community.
So what is Granada House? It's our home, and we want to share it with you.
That's great.
Perry,
So good.
Fun fact on that, sorry, real fast. I just realized the music you heard was some stuff we actually wrote ourselves in the space, and so it's actually kind of cool thinking about that. I kind of forgot.
It's very, very full circle. Well,
I want to just
Please.
add on to that real quick. I'm sorry. So that question you asked about how does it bridge into loans, and I know he clarified that a little bit, but that's a question I get asked a lot from business coaches, like, well, you're spending all this time on these events, but what's your return on it? And I think that we can all agree that there's not a tangible return. We're trying to live a life of fulfillment and touch as many people as we can. The business is a natural response to that. So I don't think there's a tangible measure of what we do in our community to gauge the return. We're just being good humans, and in turn, that comes back to us.
I love that.
I like asking how people found us, because there's probably a way to measure something if you were to really, but I'm pretty sure like when they're like, oh, someone this and that, and it's like, well, you didn't Google us and find us, and you didn't, so we kind of know, right? You kind of get a reading of that, And yeah, you just know that it's coming back, you know. I'm not just lucky, you know. Like, I don't like to think that we're just like, oh, we're good. Oh, we got a nice little lead here. That's lucky, you know. It's like we did something, and people kind of
Right,
you know.
and I think the common thread here in kind of, you know, wrapping up the panel, I think the common thread here is you find what's authentic to yourself and you put it out there and be open to let people connect with you. So whether that's hosting a luncheon that's focused on these topics that people need in their careers, or serving coffee, or playing music and showing art, or being a part of groups, or tacos, you know? I think you each have found something that people can connect with. And I encourage everybody in the audience to do the same. So, absolutely.
Okay, can I say one more thing? Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, and I want to point out too that we're all in different stages of our lives, right? I mean, very young, very old. Maybe I'm not going to be the Instagrammer because it's not me. It's not my authentic self. I'm not going to be that big social media presence because, quite frankly, at my age, I don't want to work with people I don't know. So for me, being involved in the community and making a difference and helping them, in turn, it does come back to you in the way that you want it to, right? You just have people on your team that will do the Instagramming and the blogging and the posting and TikToking and whatever else it is that we're supposed to be doing. So you just have to find what is authentic to you and do that.
That's great. Shelley, Diane, you have the closing thought.
One of the things that I was going to say as well is when I did my event wasn't to be, oh, use me, and we have this loan program, and we have that loan program. It was all about relationships, and I opened up my meeting with, of course, thanking everybody that helped make it come together. I had I have an older sister and a middle sister. My middle sister is developmentally disabled, and she's really a lot worse than she's ever been. But my sister and brother-in-law and my sister that is developmentally disabled came out to the luncheon. My sister was saying, gosh, I've never seen you do anything, and it'd be really fun, but I don't think I can bring Donna. And I said, bring her. People know who I am, you know, clients of mine, and if they don't, oh well. But on my Facebook, I always post pictures of my family and so forth. Well, the first thing that I did was I introduced them to everybody, and everybody went, oh, Donna, we know Donna. And so that was kind of fun to bring my family. My daughter was there as well. But what I opened with was a story of how I worked with a client that had come in and had been denied from a lender before, 6 years prior, and they were told, yeah, you can't buy anything, and that was that. And so when they were referred to us, they were really fearful to come in, and as I sat down with them, it's not that you don't qualify, it's not now. But if we do this, this, and this, then we can. So I gave them steps to go what we needed to do, and within 4 months, they did everything I said to do. And as I was talking about it, I was talking about the excitement and the things that they did. And I looked at the couple and I said, well, we're ready to go. We're ready to start. And the husband broke out in tears. And then all of a sudden, the agent and myself, we're all crying, you know, at the table there. And he goes, I can't believe this has ever come true. I just can't believe it. And so it took us another 3 months to get him into the house. We wrote 6, 7, 8 offers. We used the CalHAFA program. So some of the money that they saved was for the down payment, but we got the sellers to give, we just coordinated everything, and it worked out so beautifully. Well, I had them at the event, and I shared the whole story. I got everybody kind of pulled in. I even got, a couple of them were getting emotional with us, and then I had them stand up, and everybody just lost it. I mean, they just thought, oh my God, this is so great. But what I did was I showed who I was and what I did, my commitment. It wasn't like, oh, look at me, I'm so great. I told a story. And again, when you tell a story, people can kind of connect. And then the whole event went into, from there, all we talked about with UWM, we talked about the relationships with C2. We talked about, David spoke, and he talked about the family, environment here at C2 and what we do. And again, even the clout of what C2 has developed and why other lenders want to work with us, the cost savings to work with us. So we just kind of talked a little bit, very casually, and then I talked about how we can use partners in our business to enhance our business. So I didn't sit there and talk about, oh, use me, I'm the best loan officer, and oh, I've been doing this 42 years. I didn't talk about that. I talked all about things that we can do collaboratively.
Making it personal. Wonderful. I know we are out of time. This was a great conversation. Thank you all so much for participating. Thank you guys for being here.